This video is a direct continuation of the last video, and we're still in the same category of drumming where we're dealing with what I like to call double strokes, two heights. So in the last video, we talked about paradiddle patterns and pugada patterns. Basically, we're taking the ability to play two notes on one hand, and we're using accents and taps. So the next set of exercises that we want to talk about are what are called drag patterns and accented roll patterns. And the first most basic rudiment to apply this to is called the single drag. And the best way to think of a single drag is triplets. And then on the second note of the triplet, the tap that comes right after the accent, we're going to play a double stroke, which is exactly twice the check pattern. We worked on that extensively in double strokes, one height, the lesson on double strokes, one height. So if I play, you can see here on the screen, if I play very slowly the single drag pattern, it looks and sounds like this. Now we're going to continue to use the same technique to get two strong, even diddles, but we're playing them low, just like we did in the paradiddle and pugada patterns. But now the diddle, instead of being the same speed as the surrounding single strokes, these diddles are double strokes. And basically in rudimental drumming, a drag is a double stroke that follows an accent. So I'm going to play the exercise here on the screen. We're going to play a measure of triplets and then a measure of single drags. And I'm going to go slowly so you can really see the stick heights and how the rhythm flows. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Now, sometimes when you first begin to play that figure, you have to go very slow and practice keeping that double stroke down low, but still clean and precise and even. It's real easy to do this and play that diddle way. That's not what you want. You've got to control the heights. Smooth float stroke style accent and precise rhythm on the tap strokes. So as you start to take that a little bit faster, I'll play the same exercise a bit faster. 1 and a 2 and a 3, 4. Okay, those are called single drags. Now, as you go faster and faster, one of the tricks in my mind when I play these is you really got to dig into that diddle and have it kind of propel you into the next accent. Start it down low because you play diddle, tap. If we think about the individual hand motion for this rudiment, each hand does this. Single hand triplet, but the second tap's a diddle. You can practice that to work on your diddle. Let me go a little bit faster. Play the exercise again on the screen. Triplets, single drags. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next thing to watch out for is that as you play faster, that you don't let that double stroke start to open up and slur, what's called slurring the drag. Keep it precise. Wait for it and make sure that it's exactly double. You don't want this, where the rhythm gets all distorted. Keep it nice and clean. Okay, those are single drags. So now one more time, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the next rudiment in this category is just kind of a natural extension of the single drag, and that would be accented 5-stroke rolls. Still built on the same triplet, but now we're going to play a double stroke on both of the taps. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why it's called a 5-stroke roll. But we have accent, diddle, diddle, accent, accent, and it flows back and forth from hand to hand. So you can practice. It requires that you control the attack on both hands, keep the rhythm nice and even. I'll do that a few more times slowly. You can just watch the stick heights and hear the rhythm. And this is it, kind of, spelled out with individual strokes on the screen so you can see it. Diddles are all the same. Nice, smooth, flowing accent stroke. Okay? Those are 5-stroke rolls. Hand-to-hand, accented 5-stroke rolls. So if we play a measure of triplets and a measure of 5-stroke rolls, it'll look like this. Playing that rhythm precisely. Dup, digga, digga, dup, digga, digga, dup, digga, digga, dup. Very important. Let's go just a little faster. 1, 2, triplet, and... Okay? Now, it works very well to combine these two figures together. And you'll see this exercise on the screen. We have a measure of triplets, measure of single drags, measure of triplets, and then a measure of 5-stroke rolls. So, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, single drags and 5-stroke rolls. Now, that concept of the accent followed by a drag, 2 different stick heights, you can apply that to many different settings. And the one other context that we want to look at is within 16th notes. So there's a couple of rudiments that illustrate this very well. The first one is the rudiment called lesson 25, which is built on a 16th note accent pattern. So that's the framework, and as you see on the screen, and then we're going to add a double stroke on the second note on the left hand immediately following the accent. So slowly, the lesson 25 sounds like this. Okay? Now, all the same principles apply. You got to make sure the double stroke is exactly twice the check pattern. You got to wait and attack the double stroke, in time so the rhythm is even. Dut, digga, dut, 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 digga, dut, dut. So it's very important to practice these slowly and then gradually speed them up. So now we're going to take a measure of 16th notes, add the drag for the lesson 25. 1, E, and ready, go. Really hold on to that stick. Use that finger action, that really finite finger action that we talked about in previous videos to get that diddle. You might need to do this over and over again. Keep those taps down, keep the accent up. Okay, that's the lesson 25. Now, the next rudiment that is the natural extension of that is the 7-stroke roll, which is an accent, and then we put diddles on all 3 of the tapped 16th notes, like this. So if you look on the screen, you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 strokes, that's why it's called the 7-stroke roll. But you've got to keep those taps down and keep the rhythm precise and even. So let's put both those together. Measure of 16ths, lesson 25, measure of 16ths, and the 7-stroke, accented 7-stroke roll. 1, 2, ready, and... There you go. A little bit faster. 1E and a 2E and a 3 and 4. Now, the next thing to talk about in those drag, and especially when you get into the roll patterns, is how high do you play the diddle? Well, you want to play it with a tap style motion, and we've talked about in previous videos. But the truth is that when you play one note, just one drag, like in lesson 25 or single drag, you can keep it pretty low and keep the clarity and the precision of that diddle sounding good. But when you start to play these accented roll patterns faster, it's difficult to keep the diddles and the roll part of it. It's hard to make it sound really clean and precise playing down at 3 inches. So the reality is that as you play those low, unaccented part of the rudiment that's fast double stroke rolls, the heights are going to come up just a little bit. And that's okay because you want that roll to sound nice. But it's important that you keep and maintain the style of motion, the accent motion and the tap style motion. Even though during the fast double strokes, you allow the sticks to come up a little bit, maybe more of a 4 or 5 inches high, so that they sound good. So I'll demonstrate that with the lesson 25 and the 7-stroke roll. We'll go with fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think on my 7-stroke roll, I'm probably around there on my roll height. So that's okay. I mean, you can hear if I try to play it very low. I mean, that just doesn't work. That doesn't work to keep it way down there like that. You can't make the diddle speak that fast. So those would be drags, some simple illustrations of drags, and then the short rolls, the 5-stroke roll and the 7-stroke roll. The last area, or last category of rudiment that we want to look at in this double strokes 2 heights category of drumming are just longer accented rolls. And you take the 7-stroke roll, it's the same concept. You have an accent, then the next note is the beginning of the roll, it's a double stroke, and you just extend it. And you just play a roll that's a little bit longer. So if you look here on the screen, we've got, this would be a 17-stroke roll. Basically, it's a 2-count roll, but the first note of the check pattern is an accent. So it sounds like this. All right. Now, in rudimental speak, once you go past the 17-stroke roll, it's just called a long roll. So we could do 4 counts of that. So that makes a really great roll exercise. We can do 2 counts, the 17-stroke rolls, followed by a 4-count long roll. So let's do that exercise all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. So those are just accented roll patterns. Now, one last exercise I want to show you. Same exact concept except for with triplets. So if we do 2 counts of triplets and then an accented roll for 2 counts and then 4 counts of triplets and the accented roll for 4 counts. Same concept but based in triplets. So triplet, triplet, 1, 2, ready, and... Okay? Double strokes, 2 heights, drags, and accented rolls. Start very slow, get the heights under control, get the diddles precise and even, and then gradually build up your speed. Good luck.